Hey there, ready to dive in? Today, today we're tackling something I think we've all felt. That overwhelming feeling of information overload.
Oh, yeah, it's like we're just drowning in data every single day.
Exactly. And we are dissecting a draft manuscript by marketing pro Ellen, who calls us out in a big way. She actually drops a pretty startling stat right off the bat, saying that we process more information in a month than our grandparents did in, get this, their entire lifetimes.
Wow.
It's no wonder our attention spans are practically vanishing acts at this point.
It's true. And Ellen actually digs even deeper into this whole thing with this idea of the algorithm economy, those sneaky little algorithms that kind of learn what we click on and then funnel us into these, I don't know, these little silos of information.
Like echo chambers of content almost, right?
Yeah.
I've totally fallen for that before, especially on social media. You start scrolling and suddenly you're like, wait a minute, I'm only seeing one very specific viewpoint here.
It's incredibly common, and it actually ties into an even bigger battle that Ellen highlights. It's the battle for our intention. So it's one thing to grab someone's attention for a fleeting moment,
Right.
but holding their intention, influencing their beliefs, and even their actions, that's a whole other ballgame.
So it's not just about what grabs our attention, but what shapes our choices, our values, even our realities, maybe.
Sure, precisely. Ellen, she poses this, well, I think a really thought-provoking question in her manuscript. With this surge in screen time we've all experienced, especially post-pandemic, are we becoming a culture of consumers with, well, almost childlike attention spans?
It's a bit unsettling when you really think about it.
It is.
And, you know, while I don't love dwelling on the negative, it's important to acknowledge that this system, this whole thing, it's designed to keep us hooked,
Mhm.
right? But that's where Ellen's concept of the bitch slap of truth comes in. It's about cutting through all that noise and delivering something powerful, something that really resonates. But before we get into that, let's talk about Ellen. Why should we listen to her?
Excellent question. Credibility is key. And Ellen has it in spades. I mean, she's not just some self proclaimed guru. For a decade, she taught the rhetoric of persuasion and influence at, get this, the University of Denver.
Oh, wow.
And get this, she was instrumental in developing the blueprint for Oprah's book club.
Okay, working with Oprah is like the ultimate credibility booster. It's good enough for Oprah, it's good enough for me. But but here's what I find really intriguing. Ellen makes a very clear distinction between ethically capturing attention with a BSOT and those manipulative tactics we see online all the time, like the clickbait headlines, the outrage bait articles, things like that, all designed to just trigger an emotional response without actually offering any real substance.
It's an important distinction for sure. Ellen, she advocates for using these techniques responsibly and ethically. She defines the truth in this context as something we can ignore, but something that won't ignore us, especially in areas, like wealth, health, business, and relationships. It's about facing those sometimes difficult realities that impact our lives, even if we'd rather just avoid them.
And you know what? That's where you come in, dear listener. Ellen is speaking directly to you, the entrepreneur, the expert, the one with valuable knowledge to share. She sees you as someone with a unique perspective, a solution to a specific problem, and a powerful message just waiting to be unleashed. But how do you cut through all that noise and make sure your message is the one that truly lands?
That's the million-dollar question, and that's where the bitch slap of truth comes into play. It's about disrupting the status quo, challenging assumptions, and delivering your message with both power and finesse.
Okay, now we're getting to the good stuff. So let's ditch the jargon for a sec.
Yeah.
What exactly is a bitch slap of truth, and how does it actually work?
Okay, so picture this. Your ideal client is strolling through life, right? And they have this certain set of beliefs about their problems and the solutions that are available to them. A BSOT is like grabbing them by the shoulders, maybe giving them a little shake and saying, hey, wake up. Have you ever thought about it this way?
I love that analogy. It's about snapping them out of their autopilot thinking and forcing them to pay attention. But it's got to be more than just stating the obvious, right?
You hit the nail on the head. A BSOT needs that extra oomph. It has to evoke strong emotions, make people stop dead in their tracks and say, whoa, I've never thought of it that way before. And here's the kicker. It needs to be something that sticks with them long after they've, finished reading your post or listening to your podcast.
So it's like planting a seed of thought that continues to grow in their mind, right?
Exactly. It's about creating that aha moment that has a lasting impact.
Okay, I'm hooked, but I need some concrete examples. How does this actually play out in the real world?
Let's dive into a few classic BSOTs. In the world of health and fitness, think about the phrase, abs are made in the kitchen.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's brilliant because it just completely flips the script on this idea that getting a six pack is all about, endless crunches at the gym. It
Yeah.
highlights the often ignored truth about the importance of nutrition.
I've definitely fallen for that one myself.
Yeah.
You think you're working hard at the gym, and then you realize your diet is working against you. What about other industries?
Okay. In the world of marketing, Seth Godin's advice to choose your smallest viable audience is a prime example of a BSOT. It challenges that, well, it's kind of a traditional go big or go home mentality, urging businesses to really focus on, deeply connecting with a niche audience rather than trying to just appeal to everyone.
That's such a crucial shift in thinking, especially with how niche these online communities have become. It's about quality over quantity, right?
Absolutely. And then we have Simon Sinek's start with why. I mean, before Sinek, the emphasis was often on what you do or how you do it, but his BSOT shifted the focus to why you do what you do, tapping into those, the deeper purpose and values that really resonate with customers.
It's amazing how these seemingly simple statements can, like, completely change our perspective on things.
Yeah.
But has Ellen actually seen these BSOTs translate into real-world success for her clients?
Oh, absolutely. In her manuscript, she shares some amazing client stories, like take Dame Megan Dougherty, an expert in business podcasts, her BSOT, profitable business podcasts, now with real math.
That's catchy.
It is, and it's effective because it addresses, well, a major pain point for entrepreneurs. They pour their hearts into these podcasts, but then they struggle to see a return on that investment. Megan, she flips the script on the whole build it and they will come mentality and offers, a clear strategic path to profitability. And the real math bit, that just adds a little intrigue and positions her as like an authority on the subject.
So smart. Especially in a world where it seems like everyone and their grandmother have a podcast, you really need that edge to stand out.
Exactly. Another great example is Dame Joyce Martyr, a therapist who brands herself as America's workplace therapist. Her BSOT reframes how we view mental health in the workplace. She compares it to dental hygiene. Imagine if people were ashamed to admit they went to the dentist. We take care of our teeth proactively, so why not our mental health?
That's such a simple but brilliant analogy. It really makes you think about that stigma that still surrounds mental health, especially in professional settings.
And that's the beauty of a well-crafted BSOT. It just sparks those aha moments and gets people talking.
This is all gold, but I have to ask, how can someone create their own BSOT? Is there like a formula they can follow?
You're in luck. Ellen breaks it down into 4 clear steps.
Yeah.
Step 1, identify your most lucrative target audience. Who are you speaking to? What are their pain points and aspirations? That makes perfect sense. You can't craft a compelling message if you don't know who you're even talking to. It's like throwing darts in the dark.
Exactly. Once you have, like a crystal clear understanding of your audience, step 2 is to understand the stories they're already telling themselves. What are their existing beliefs about, the problem you solve? What are the dominant narratives in your industry that might be holding them back?
So you're basically getting inside their heads, figuring out their worldview, right?
Precisely. And then comes the really fun part, crafting your pattern interrupt, your narrative shift. This is where you challenge those existing beliefs and offer a fresh perspective, like a new way of seeing both the problem and the solution.
Okay, that's steps 1 through 3. What about step 4? Step 4 is all about creating a sense of community and belonging around your BSOT. It's not enough to just deliver the message. You need to create a space where people feel seen, heard, understood, a place where they can connect with others who share their newfound perspective.
I love that. It's like you're creating a movement around your idea, a tribe of like-minded individuals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A BSO is just the spark. The community is what keeps that fire burning bright.
This has been incredibly insightful, but I have to admit, I'm starting to feel a bit overwhelmed. It seems like a lot of pressure to come up with this mind-blowing, earth-shattering BSOT.
I hear you. And Ellen actually reassures us that it's not about reinventing the wheel or trying to be something you're not. It's about tapping into the truth that already resonate with you, the insights you've gained from your own experiences and expertise.
So it's more about uncovering your BSOT than inventing it from scratch.
Exactly. Think about the problems you solve for your clients, the aha moments they have when they're working with you. What are the underlying truths that drive those breakthroughs?
That makes a lot of sense. It's like distilling your wisdom into its, purest, most potent form or something.
Exactly. And those aha moments you mentioned, those are gold. They're often a sign that, you've stumbled upon a truth that's both profound and shareable.
Good. It definitely takes the pressure off. But shifting gears a bit here, we've been talking a lot about the how of crafting a BSOT. But what about the why? Like, what's the bigger picture here for our listeners?
Well, Ellen, she emphasizes that a BSOT is really just that. It's just the first step. It's about more than just grabbing attention. It's about building that lasting engagement, creating a movement around your message. She talks about, the power of fantasy, like tapping into your audience's aspirations, their dreams, their desires, and then creating this sense of belonging, a community where they feel supported and empowered to actually achieve those dreams.
So it's about connecting on a deeper level, almost like creating a shared journey with your audience.
Precisely. It's about moving beyond that, that transactional relationship and building like a tribe of loyal followers who really resonate with your message and trust you as their guide.
This has been such a thought-provoking conversation, but, I have to ask, Ellen talks about the next 6 years being a time of, well, she says unprecedented revolution in, get this, both outer and inner consciousness technology. What does she even mean by that? And how does it tie back into this whole BSOT concept?
It's a fascinating concept. On the one hand, we've got this rapid rise of AI, right? Algorithms are becoming incredibly sophisticated in their ability to mimic, to predict, and even manipulate human communication in a way.
Right.
Think about, how targeted ads have become. It's a little unnerving at times.
Definitely. Sometimes I swear my phone is listening to my conversation.
Right. But here's the other side of the coin. There's this growing awareness of the power of, what she calls our own inner technology, like mindfulness, meditation, self-awareness, things like that. People are, they're waking up to the fact that we actually have more control over our thoughts, our emotions, our attention than we often realize.
So it's like we're in this constant tug of war between these external forces
Yeah.
that are, trying to capture our attention, and then our own internal ability to kind of direct our focus and choose what truly matters to us.
Exactly. And that's where the BSOT, it becomes even more crucial. In a world that's just beyond saturated with information and increasingly sophisticated persuasion techniques, the ability to cut through all that noise and deliver a message that truly resonates, it's more valuable than ever. It's not about just shouting the loudest anymore. It's about authenticity, vulnerability, and a genuine, desire to connect.
And that's what Ellen's bitch slap of truth is really all about. Being bold, being brave, and sharing your unique message with the world.
Absolutely. It's about owning your expertise, challenging the status quo, and just, sparking a fire in the minds and hearts of your audience.
So as you navigate this ever-evolving digital landscape, ask yourself, what's your bitch slap of truth? What unique perspective, what hard-won wisdom can you share that will really ignite a fire in the hearts of your audience?
That's the question, isn't it? What truth are you holding back on? What message is burning inside of you, just waiting to be unleashed? Find it, refine it, and share it with the world.
This has been an incredible deep dive, and I really hope you're walking away with, a fresh perspective and a renewed sense of purpose. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep seeking truth, and keep sharing your unique voice with the world.